In this edition of Detroit Performs, an artist captures a significant part of his and the world's history on canvas.
We are marching from Dachau concentration camp because the Americans were coming.
Critic Card Detroit shares with us some more citizen reviews. We visit the guy who brought the Detroit Opera House back to life.
Because I believe very strongly that the arts is the most exciting way to revitalize a community.
An artist who creates a miniature world with his cut and fold drawings.
You have to make it in an uncompromising manner, but at the same time make it so that people might find it interesting to look at.
And a shining collection of art made with tinsel.
The use of metallic foil was an added technique to an old technique going back to Renaissance Italy.
It's all ahead in today's episode of Detroit Performs.
Major funding for Detroit Performs is provided by the McGregor Fund. Additional funding is provided by the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs and the National Endowment for the Arts, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to Detroit Performs. I am your host, DJ Oliver, and today we're at the Holocaust Memorial Center in Farmington Hills. The center shows not only the undeniable evil of the Holocaust, but also the great courage, strength, and righteousness of those affected. Our first artist has a collection here at the Memorial Center. Samuel Pruchno was placed in a concentration camp when he was 14 years old and remained until liberated from Dachau by the Americans on May 1st, 1945. 10 years ago, he noticed there was no paintings of the camps by a survivor and was compelled to tell his story so the world remembers.
I'd like to leave something because I was in many museums in Jerusalem, the Yad Vashem, in Washington. I didn't see any paintings from a Holocaust survivor. We are marching from Dachau concentration camp because the Americans were coming close. They knew they didn't feed us, we didn't get any water. And I told my brother-in-law, we won't survive if we don't have anything to eat or to drink. So I told him, I'm going to try at night to steal a backpack from the German guards. And I start crawling on my belly where the German guards were sleeping, grabbed a backpack. We opened the backpack, we found 2 loaves of bread and 4 cans of condensed milk. We opened up the condensed milk. Each one of us drank the condensed milk. I cannot describe you the feeling of that. First of all, it was cold, we were thirsty, it was sweet. I fell behind on the death march, and people who fell behind, you heard some shots because they couldn't keep up with them walking. That's what a brother is for, and my brother-in-law, they took me in my arms. If you can see on the death march, I painted myself on the number 84782. That's my number from concentration camp. We came to Stutthof. We didn't know what to expect. We saw the chimneys there, and we saw prisoners, or you call it, with striped clothes. They were yelling at us, and it was mostly like monsters rolling around, and yelled at us, if you don't behave yourself, the only way you will get out is through the chimneys. They had to count us in the morning before getting to work and coming back. They were always afraid that somebody will escape. And if you can see, everything was dirty around there. But when they were standing there, there was on a plywood. They didn't want to get dirty their boots. And if you see that, how they had dogs with them all the time. And the only thing I can tell you, the dogs, they were not the most friendly dogs here. The same thing, if you can see here, by the house, there were, we had to take a shower. Sometimes they used it. If there was dead, if you can see the wagon here, dead inmates already, they were cremated. We heard rolling like a tank, if you hear the noise, but we didn't know. We thought there is a German tank coming and he will kill us all. But when the tank came out from the forest, we saw the star. We knew it's not a German tank. The Americans were sitting on top of the tank, and that's hard to believe. And they were throwing Hershey chocolate on the ground. If you can see on the painting, I painted Hershey chocolates there. I looked, and tears were running from my eyes, and I remember asking, why took you so long? You know, and that was my liberation, May the 1st, 1945. God helped me somewhere around. Otherwise, I don't know how I survived.
To learn more about Samuel Pruchnell, as well as all the other artists featured here today, head to DetroitPerforms.org. Dr. David DeChiara founded the Michigan Opera Theater in 1971 and did everything he could to make his dream come true, creating a premier opera stage in downtown Detroit. After $65 million in renovation, Dr. David DeChiara did just that.
I loved opera because it was about people, you know, it was about singers and stagehands and, you know, and composers and directors. I think everybody has the ability to enjoy and understand and you know, and like music and the arts. The other is probably a combination. You know, before I built it, while I was still raising money for it, a gentleman who will remain unnamed and had a he was had a television program, and he said, "Oh, I see they're selling boxes at the Opera House for $250,000 to name them and so forth. And you know what you could do with $250,000? You know how many children you could send, you know, all of those things. And then he said, I think we need an opera house in Detroit about as much as we need a bullfighting ring on Gratiot Avenue. So that was a mentality. What is an opera house? Well, this opera house in the summer is an educational center. We have young children, children of all ages, taking classes, workshops, you know, residencies. This is where they get inspired. This is where many of their lives are changed forever. You know, and those are the things that, you know, it's just not an opera house. It's a place where things happen. This opera house in this place to be a catalyst for revitalization. Because I believe very strongly that the arts is the most exciting way to revitalize a community. I was on a plane one time with Coleman Young, a long time before I opened the Opera House, and I said to him, Mr. Mayor, I want you to think about Lincoln Center. Lincoln Center in the 60s when it opened, that area was West Side. It was the West Side story. It was gangs, it was crime, it was everything. Suddenly, a performing arts center emerges, and that area now is totally transformed. So, and looking back now over these last, you know, years, since '96, we have stadiums on one side of us, we have restaurants, we have a YMCA, the Bowl Center, we have now the Madison building where young people are coming in and creating new businesses and so forth. I'm very excited that that dream of using the Opera House as a catalyst to revitalize a whole area and be kind of like in the forefront of creating an entertainment district was as important as the art itself. Sometimes the whole idea of going to a concert hall or going to an opera house sets up a kind of a different kind of boundary. You know what I mean? And there's a whole movement recently of doing, one of them is called Random Acts of Culture. Where, you know, an opera singer or a violinist or something will suddenly show up, you know, in a restaurant or in some club and start without being introduced, without anything, just start performing. And people suddenly, it's like, oh, look at that, listen, never thought about that, you know. So I think that we need to become much more flexible about the way we deliver our art. It's about young people. And young people realize that this is a great party. I think it's the environment of the Opera House, that it transforms itself into a party house, you know, and that it relates to not only, you know, great food, you know, great wines, entertainment. It brings everything together. I think longevity is about being absorbed in what you think is important, then that you want to do, the thing that you want to give to others and to the community and for yourself.
To find out more about Dr. David DiChiera and the Michigan Opera Theater, head to DetroitPerforms.org. Let's see what Credit Card Detroit's been up to as we check in on their citizen reviews of local arts events.
Hi, my name is Rue, and I just finished watching the DSO perform the music of John Williams. It was phenomenal. We've been coming to the Pops series for probably 10 years, and it just keeps getting better and better and better.
Hi, my name is Sally Jo Levine, and we came with the Pez News to the Pops series. It was one of the best nights we've ever had here. We've been coming about 3 years.
I think Schindler's List was probably really very moving, and the violinist was beyond anything I think I've ever heard before. She was absolutely outstanding.
And it makes us appreciate that we all took music lessons and can't do anything like this. So she was phenomenal. In fact, all of the soloists were outstanding tonight. And the Pop series never disappoints us.
You can view more of Credit Card Detroit's citizen reviews on their Facebook page and YouTube channel, which you can find through DetroitPerforms.org. And here are upcoming arts events happening in and around Detroit. Museums are often littered with signs reminding visitors do not touch. But artist Gary Cachadorian takes a hands-on approach to his work. His books are full of drawings of objects from everyday life. From sofas to ATM machines, the objects may be common, but to Cachadorian, they're art.
Choosing the kinds of objects I choose is really largely because I'm interested in them. I mean, I think they're beautiful, but I don't necessarily think that they should be considered beautiful. It's just what sticks in your brain, and you assume that what's staying in your brain is something that tells something about you, probably, and that's kind of the point of making art. When I look at other artists' work, half of it is what I can find out about the way they think. This is one of the last projects I finished, which is a book of cut and fold objects. Anything from a self-portrait, to spotter pots, to barriers, vacant lot, snowball stand. Things you drive by every day and that are fairly central and elemental to, society that we live in. This piece is a brand new set of the cut and fold series. And it's a apartment dumpster, which I've done a few flat ones of before, but this is a three-dimensional one, and a sofa with removable cushions, because there's always, when you go by apartment complexes, you always see like a sofa next to the dumpster. I did this self-portrait a few years ago. It's actually the only, mammal I've done a drawing of in probably 6 years. But this one I kind of felt I had to do, and it came from standing in line with a 7-Eleven and looking at the security camera and noticing a really large bald spot on the back of my head that I not actually realized was there. A surprise. It seemed like a good time to document that particular aging process. I don't look at any of these things being mass produced at this point. So this book sold for $4, and I sell at different, mostly like artist books outlets, places like Quimby's in Chicago, Printed Matter in New York, and locally. I do posters, and this is actually another scale version of the vacant lot. Behind it, in both these panels actually, were ceiling panels that I'd had up before. So they're a drawing of drop ceiling acoustic tile. And then the last of this kind of sequence is installation that I did on a building on North and Charles that uses a bush in early spring and a decorative block wall. From the point of view of like making the drawings, you have to make it in an uncompromising manner, but at the same time make it so that people might find it interesting to look at. It's a tough thing, you're not trying to bend to please them, you're trying to make something that will please them on your terms.
To find out more about Gary, as well as all the other artists shown here today, head to DetroitPerforms.org. Next up is the exhibition Foiled, Tinsel Painting in America. Tinsel paintings are reverse paintings in which metallic foils applied behind translucent and transparent areas of glass. Curator Lee Cogan takes us inside the exhibit.
I'm Lee Cogan, Curator Emerita at the American Folk Art Museum. We're in a unique exhibition called Foiled, Tinsel Painting in America. The use of metallic foil was an added technique to an old technique going back to Renaissance Italy of reverse painting on glass. This is a woman's art form that was popular from 1850 to 1890. And they were displayed in the dining room and parlor and glowed in candlelight and later gaslight. The imagery is largely floral. Therefore, there are wreaths, garlands, bouquets, vases, compotes filled with flowers, fruit. And we see it was a time of great optimism. And these themes, particularly the floral theme, shows abundance and plenty. Birds and fountains were other subjects which were very popular in tinsel painting, particularly parrots and peacocks. At the time, the parrot was Queen Victoria's favorite pet, and the peacock was a symbol of immortality. Also, we see patriotism as an important theme. We see religious themes, themes of family life, but there also are architectural examples and landscapes. Tinsel paintings were primarily paintings for the wall, but they took other forms as furniture, tilt-top tables, the inside of a box, a tray, the front of a book. They took many surprising other forms as well. Before the age of mass production, people made their own games and made their own game boards. And during the 19th century, chess and checkers were favorites. The technique of tinsel painting was a personal art form. Tinsel paintings were given as gifts to family members and friends. Therefore, there was no need to sign one's name. One of the most exciting discoveries in this project was the identification of an actual tinsel painting practitioner, Alice Knight. She lived to be 103, and during her lifetime, practiced as an artisan professional. She painted trays, she painted furniture, she painted landscapes on oil, but she also painted hundreds upon hundreds of tinsel paintings, many of which she signed in pencil on the back with her name and hometown. outstanding is one that she did in several versions, which turns out to be Act Two of Swan Lake, the ballet by Peter Tchaikovsky.
Get more in depth with Tinsel by heading to DetroitPerforms.org. And that wraps it up for this edition of Detroit Performs. For more arts and culture, head to DetroitPerforms.org, where you'll find featured videos, blogs, and information on upcoming arts events. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. We'd truly like to thank the Holocaust Memorial Center for having us out here and for creating an experience that honors the history of the remarkable families that struggled through this horrific era. Until next time, get out there and show the world how Detroit performs. I am DJ Oliver. Thanks for watching, guys.
Major funding for Detroit Performs is provided by the McGregor Fund. Additional funding is provided by the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs and the National Endowment for the Arts, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.